Well, you mentioned a lot of new regulations, very different, and each of them imposes level of challenge. I think when it comes to the SOx regulations, people get used to it. We are prepared. The tankers are prepared. You have to keep in mind that we speak on behalf of our members that are tanker operators, chemical, oil, and gas tankers. When it comes to NOx emissions, it's very much of the ships being prepared to by the shipyards, by the makers, and we have that confidence that they will be equipped, and I hope the system will be reliable. MRV, which you mentioned there, that's kind of a data collection at the moment, so every ship is collecting and monitoring their fuel consumption, distances, cargo, and so forth, and so that will be, they are ready to report the data. The challenge probably will be with the practice in demonstrating or control or verification of the data and the reporting. But we hope that this challenge will be not very big. Ballast water, that is going to be a very big challenge because there are a lot of uncertainties with the systems, whether they are approved by the U.S. Coast Guard or not, and whether they are reliable, whether they function in every place in the world. So that is going to be the most challenging piece of legislation. The decision of COP21 not to include shipping, I think it's the right one. Number one, because the shipping is not a government and it cannot be treated like this. There are significant differences. It doesn't mean that shipping should not bring its own contribution to reducing CO2 emissions or greenhouse gas emissions. This is done already through IMO, and the first steps are there, implemented. The results are quite good, and the work in IMO has not stopped there. So I want to put a couple of facts very clear. An IMO study has demonstrated that has shown that the shipping has reduced by 10% its actual CO2 emissions. But most important, they have reduced close to 20% the contribution of shipping to the global man-made GHG emissions, which tells me that shipping has reduced CO2 emission or greenhouse gas emissions to a higher pace than anybody else. So there are positive things that should not be forgotten. It doesn't mean that shipping will stop here. It's a lot of work that continues to be done. Well, to be prepared. Now, as Intertanko, we hope that the decisions taken by this year, by the end of this year, by IMO, for the reason that everybody has enough time to be prepared and adapt and do the right things. When it comes to be prepared, we have had some experience with ICA, with emission control areas, where also a very low sulfur content fuel is mandated to be used. Very minor hiccups, very minor problems. The most important thing is that the right fuel is going to be available on the market. So otherwise, if that is true, then shipping will be ready to comply and will fully comply.